What's up to all my beautiful bosses, fashion influencers, and creatives? I'm Gully Jacq, co-founder of Jacq and Key Boutique, and this is Gully Jacq TV. We're going to get right into it, y'all. In this video, I'm answering the most frequently asked questions most Americans have about the stimulus checks that are on the way. Disclaimer before I start this video, this information is prepared by Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley and the Republican Finance Committee staff for informational purposes and should not be relied on for legal advice. Individuals should consult the IRS or a tax advisor to address questions related to their individual circumstances. This is not legal advice. Keep that in mind. But it is from Senator, and I will leave the link below to the article that I'm sharing this information from. It is posted by Senator Chuck Grassley from Iowa. So the first question most people have is, who is eligible for a recovery rebate? The answer is all U.S. residents or citizens with adjusted gross income under $75,000, $112,500 for head of household, and $150,000 if you're married, who are not dependent of another taxpayer and have a work-eligible Social Security number are eligible for the full $1,200, and you would get $2,400 if you're married. They are also eligible for an additional $500 per child. A typical family of four is eligible for a $3,400 recovery rebate. What about taxpayers with adjusted gross income over $75,000? Are they eligible to receive any rebate? The rebate amount is reduced by $5 for each $100 that a taxpayer's income exceeds the phase-out threshold. The amount is completely phased out for single filers with incomes exceeding $99,000, $146,000 for head of household filers with one child, and $198,000 for joint filers with no children. For a typical family of four, the amount is completely phased out for those with adjusted gross incomes exceeding $218,000. Next question. What if my income was above the threshold in 2019, but I've lost my job due to coronavirus? Can I still get a rebate check? If your income in 2019 was in the phase-out range, you would still receive a partial rebate based on your 2019 tax return. However, the rebate is actually an advance on a tax credit that you may claim on your 2020 tax return. If your income is lower than 2020 than in 2019, any additional credit you are eligible for will be refunded or reduce your tax liability when you file your 2020 tax return next year. So you will get that on the back end if you are owed money. Is the rebate taxable, or will I have to pay back any amount if the rebate based on my 2019 return is larger than what it would be if based on my 2020 tax return year? No. The rebate is treated like other refundable tax credits such as child tax credit and earned income tax credit, and not considered income. Moreover, if the credit amount you qualify based on 2020 income is less than what you qualify for based on your 2019 tax return, it does not have to be paid back. So that's definitely a blessing. If they overpay you and end up realizing that you weren't supposed to get the amount you received, you don't have to pay that back. Who qualifies as a child for purposes of the rebate? Any child who is qualifying for the purposes of the child tax credit is also a qualifying child for the purposes of the recovery rebate. In general, a child is any dependent of a taxpayer under the age of 17. So if you claimed anybody on your taxes under the age of 17 this year or last year, whichever last year's tax you did, you will be able to claim them and get that $500 credit. Do dependents other than children under 17 qualify a taxpayer for an additional $500 per dependent? No. The additional $500 per child is limited to children under 17. Next question. Are individuals with little to no income or those on means-tested federal benefits such as Social Security income eligible for a recovery rebate? Yes. There is no qualifying income requirement. So there's no income requirement. You can be making zero and you can still get this check. Even individuals with zero income are eligible for a rebate so long as they are not the dependent of another taxpayer and have a work-eligible Social Security number. So as long as you live in America and you have a working Social Security number and don't owe child support, you should get this rebate back. And I'll get to that in a few seconds because there's a lot of confusion about who gets it and what enforcements the IRS is enforcing at this time as far as taking people's tax refunds that are due for student loans and things like that. So that question is coming up here in just a second. Are seniors whose only income is from Social Security or a veteran whose only income is a veteran's disability payment eligible? Yes, as long as they are not the dependent of another taxpayer. The bill also provides IRS with additional tools to locate and provide rebates to low-income seniors who normally do not file a tax return by allowing them to base a rebate to Form SSA 1099, Social Security Benefit Statement, or Form RRB 1099, which is the equivalent of the Social Security Statement for railroad employees. However, seniors are still encouraged to file their 2019 tax return to ensure they receive their recovery rebate as quickly as possible. Next question. Are college students eligible for a recovery rebate? Only if they are not considered a dependent of their parents. Generally, a full-time college student under the age of 24 is considered a dependent if their parents provide more than half their support. If your parents currently claim you on their taxes, you will not be getting a $1,200 rebate. Your parents will actually get a $500 credit for you, so take that up with them. Hopefully they'll be generous and split some of that cheddar with you. Next question. I am eligible for a rebate. What do I have to do to receive it? For the vast majority of Americans, no action on their part will be required to receive a rebate check, since the IRS will use a taxpayer's 2019 tax return if filed, so they'll go by that first, or their 2018 return if they haven't filed their 2019 tax return. This includes many individuals with very low income who filed a tax return despite not owing any tax in order to take advantage of the refundable earned income tax credit and child tax credit. Next question. What should I do if I did not file a tax return for 2019 or 2018? So if you haven't filed your taxes in the past couple years, it's a good time to go ahead and do that now. The best way to ensure you receive a recovery rebate is to file a 2019 tax return if you have not already done so. This could be accomplished for free online from home using the IRS Free File program, and I'll leave a link to that below as well, where you can go and file your taxes. Filing your taxes is definitely not as hard as some people would like to make it seem. Quite simple if you don't have a complicated tax situation going on. So this is very valuable for a lot of people that need every coin that they can possibly get back. So go ahead and file your taxes for free. Just make sure you enter everything correctly and double check your input so you're not getting your return sent back. Next question. If I have a past due debt to a federal or state agency or owe back taxes, will my rebate be reduced? This is the question that I was answering earlier, because a lot of people are thinking, oh, I'm not going to get a rebate. I owe back taxes. I owe for government loans. They garnish my wages. They take my tax return every year for my student loans. So according to the Republican Finance Committee and Senator Chuck Grassley, no. The bill turns off nearly all administrative offsets that ordinarily may reduce tax refunds for individuals who have past tax debts or who are behind on other payments to federal or state governments, including student loan payment. The only administrative offset that will be enforced applies to those who have past due child support payments that the states have reported to the Treasury Department. The only people that this is negatively going to affect as far as owing something to a federal government is people who owe back child support. So if you're up to date on your child support and you're current on it, it definitely should not affect you. And if you're not, you want to make sure you're up to date. You shouldn't be owing back taxes on child support. So I definitely feel like get that in order. Take care of your kids. That's my input on that. So as I said, the information provided in this video was provided by the Republican Finance Committee staff. Do not take it for legal advice. That is their own words and disclaimer that they put in this. This is for informational purposes and should not be relied on for legal advice. If you found anything in this video valuable, be sure to go ahead and click the like button, share this video with someone who might be confused. I know a lot of people are trying to figure out what's going on, how soon they're going to get it back. According to the Treasury, they're saying they're supposed to be sending them out starting, I think, the third week in April. But if you don't have all of your stuff in order, if you don't have your taxes filed, it's going to definitely push you a little bit behind everybody else. So they are going off of people who have filed their 2019 taxes first, and then if you haven't filed your 2019 taxes, they're going to see if you filed your 2018. And if you haven't filed either one of those years, you need to go ahead and do that, because you might not get this recovery rebate until you do so. Appreciate y'all for watching, taking the time out of your day to come here and get this information. And I can't leave the video without saying thank God it's a new day.